states and relation to the society. When we say relation with the society, it means society itself. Society itself. What do you mean by the society? Society is a group of people, right? And from society itself, the large scope of state is there. Society itself represents the state. You can say that state is the reflection of the society. How the society is being treated, how the society is being given the rights, how the society is performing the duties, all those institutions which are helpful to the society, how those institutions govern. So all aspects of societies are reflected in state. Politics as a theory concerns itself with the states and its problems. It means if there is state, there would be some problems. Problems of the state. Problems of the states. Problem of the state. It means if there is a state, there would be some problems to state. So what measures must be taken? What measures must be taken to avoid these problems, to resolve these problems? Were there any institutions to resolve all those problems? Were some organizations set up to resolve this problem? How many people were there in institutions or organizations? How the behavior of king was affecting the society and the state? How the people were treated? What was the role of the king? Which theory was launched? Which theory were launched in singular way, in plural way, right? So, in practice, politics refer to the actual manner in which government work with the help of a society of institutions which affect political life. Variety of institutions. When we say variety of the institutions, variety of the institution. Variety of the institutions means how the office of king works, how the second class, first class, third class of institutions are there, how the organizations are there, how the people were appointed, what were the theories prominent to run the organization, to run the state. So these all were described in theories, and theories were developed to run the administration, to run the state, to avoid and resolve the problems of the state. So these all were theories based, and when there were theories, so there would be some philosophers also, because theories were introduced and developed by the philosophers. So Greek were the first who developed systematic arrangement of the politics or the society. Now we proceed. Political science is a branch of social sciences dealing with the theory, organization, governmented practice of the state. Three things are there. When we say social science, you know, some people always concern social sciences, concern with the term social sciences, social studies, because there would be some four subjects: history, geography, politics, economics, but it is not so. When we say social sciences, all the aspect of life which are concerned with the human development, which are concerned with the life of human being, all those terminologies and subjects are consist in social science. So it's a branch of, when we say the political science is a branch of social science. How this subject is known as the science? because it, as you see often, many times, that results of some particular events the always the process and operation of some theories, and it always happens, it always show the result as it happened earlier or in ancient time, in medieval time, it always happens. So political science is a branch of social science dealing with the theory theory organization organization governmented practice of the state, governmented practice of the state. Governmented practice of the state. What is exact meaning of governmented practice of the state? It means how the government is formed, because as you know there were some particular theories, some particular way of administration, way of rule, like some were some in some countries there were democracy, there was a monarchy, right? So theory depends upon the nature of the state, how the nature of a state affect the society, affect the state. So when we talk about the theory, organization, government, practice of the state, it's all concerned in political science. Political science is dealing with the general problems of the state and government, is the most apparent and accepted definition. This definition was given by R.N. Gilchrist. R.N. Gilchrist says that political science is simply what? Political science is the simple thing in general problems of the state, general problems of the state. Because when this definition was introduced, there were not many huge problems before the state. Political science especially deals with the general problem of the state. It is said by Gilchrist, right? And it was accepted, and it is accepted as well. Then we proceed. Various definitions of political science have been given by several political scientists. The famous French writer Paul Janet, Paul Janet, Paul Janet, Paul Janet. He was French scholar. He says the political science at that part of social science which treats the foundations of the state and the principles of the government. Principles of the government and the foundation of the state. Foundation of the state. These two things were there, which was described by Paul Janet, the French scholar. Professor 𝐼𝐸𝐸 in his book Political Science defines political science a historical investigation of what the state has been, an analytical study of what the state is, and the political politico-ethical discussion of what the state should be. So it was stated by 𝐼𝐸𝐸. 𝐼𝐸𝐸. So there were many scholars defined the definition of the state in various ways as they observe the problems, as they observe the nature and the democratic or ruling process of the state. They describe in different other ways. So Gattel says that historical investigation of what the state has been. He emphasizes on historical development, historical analysis, historical investigation or analysis, investigation. So this is described by the 𝐼𝐸𝐴 in way how the state had been in terms of historical investigation. So let us discuss the what is the real exact meaning of historical investigation. How do we investigate our history? So there are some terms like economical development of the people, the duties of the state, the rights of the states, how the monarchy was established, how the throne was established, what the contract was signed between the king and the people, how the kingship was developed, what was the need of the state. So all these things were consisted in term the political investigation, right? Political investigation. As you know, in our Indian history, our our prominent historic person, Kautilya wrote Arthashastra. But the focus subject of Arthashastra was politics. So when we say the political investigation, it means all terms which affect the politics. So this is the real analysis and investigation. So what the states in and a politico-ethical discussion of what the state should be. Politico-ethical discussion. It means politico and ethics, political and ethics. Should really ethics deal with politics? Yes, there ought to be. Political science and the terms of politics and the system of politics must be influenced by the ethics. Why we say ethics? Because at the end we need the man, the human being, and the man who are surviving on the earth, who are surviving in the state. What is the real motto of the nation? To develop their citizens in various ways, like religion, their categories, their terms of economics. But at the end, what we need, the real development of the people. So it depends upon the nature of the state. President Lowell defines political science as an observational science. So observational science is said by Lowell. Lowell. This was the president. Political science is observational science. What is the real exact meaning of observation science? Observation science that we really emphasize on the result of the political science or the product of the political science, how the operations are being evaluated. So observational science means all aspects of life which are really connect with the state, right? So these are the terms like observational science is but described by the Lowell. Sir Frederick Pollock says there is a political science in the same sense that there is a science of morals. So Pollock defines the political science is the science of morals. Science of morals. Morality is the really foundation of the politics. It was described by the Gandhiji also. In India, this term had been used in various ways, but in the most part of the world, this terminology was really recognized because in many parts of the life of the state, many parts of the aspect which were really concerned with the state were needed the moral. So ethics was launched to create a discipline of the people of the state and of the organs of the state. F.W. Maitland comments, when I see a good set of examination question headed by the word political science, I regret not the question but the title. So this intellectual person, Maitland, emphasizes on the title. So this was the Maitland. Now we see another definition described by the Robson. Actually, you need to know the many definitions because in mains examinations, the title with the question with the title is also given there. So we need to focus on these all titles, all definitions. Any definition might be there to examine, to write about. Robson, the purpose of political science is to light on political ideas and political action in order that the government of many may be improved. So this was the definition given by Robson. The purpose of political science is to throw light on political ideas. Throw light on political ideas. Throw light on political ideas. Political ideas means political theories, political principles, political maxims, all these things concerned in this. And the political action depends upon the nature of the government, the nature of the society, the behavior of the people of the state. So all these things depends upon the nature of the state. When we move ahead. David E. Apter, most prominent intellectual scholar, because David E. Apter was known as the great mind. Political science is a discipline is concerned with the problems of ants. Problems of ants. So this definition was given by Apter. When you get a question in mains examination, we must also focus on the title. We must focus and memorize the idea maker person, and how the definition such particular terminology is concerned with a definition and related people. So with the problem of ant, the goal of the good society, the means of governing in such manner as to realize the good society. As I described earlier, that what is the real objective of the political science? At the end, what kind of life we just want to get? How do we wish to live our life in a society? If the person is disciplined, the society would be disciplined. If the society is disciplined, the state would be disciplined. So theories depends upon the behavior of the people, the requirement of the state, the other policies of neighboring state. If one state is carrying the idea of democracy and another neighboring state is carrying the idea of monarchy, so there would be some conflict. So behavior of state would treat as the theory is required there. As you people have been observing for many times, for long time, that a war is there in Arab countries. So how this war was introduced, how this war was imposed because of the theory and the nature of the state, right? So all depends upon the theory and the nature of the state. The political science always required the new and great theory to secure their citizens to develop their states, right? So activities of the ruled, especially political actions personified in voting, public opinion, and attitude formation, and the underlying connection between society and the government. It key concern power, how it is shared through participation and representation, and how it is affected by the growth and the change. So this is so. The nature of the people, the nature of the society, the type of rule, all are concerned here. What is said here, that its key concern power. Power means right and duties. Right and duties for the state, right and duties for the people of that particular state. How it is shared through participation, how the people are practicing that power. Like voting power is given to us for what? To choose our leader, to choose our government, to make our rules. This depends because we people got the type of rule like democracy. Like so this happens so how it is affected by growth and change, right? So growth and change depends upon the nature of the state, the duties and power given to the people. Modern writers of political science concede that it is not an exact science. No political theory can claim to be an absolute truth. Yeah, really it is true. Then any political theory cannot complete all aspect of political science, since it does not stand the test of the time. Test of time. What is the real meaning of test of time? The result of the theory. It it says the result of the theory. It means if a theory is there, how do we check, how do we observe, how do we calculate the result of that particular theory? So it depends upon the product, what product we get. Like in freedom fight, we fought with the principle of truth and non-violence. So after independence, what we got? Non-violence. But in Pakistan, what happened there? They developed their nation on the basis of violence. For a long time, the violence took place there. It also happened in China. For next 20 years, there was a time of struggle, revolt in China. Right? People were crushed, the theories were crushed, the culture were crushed. Right? But in India, what we got? We got non-violence and truth. So after that, we faced many problems, but we got solution because we had democratic principles, we got theories, and especially the theory of truth and non-violence. The practice of non-violence took long time, but as we say, the taste of time, the democracy with non-violence is the need of the world today. As you see, the most of the countries, they always favored the peace, right? So that was the taste of time, and that is the time of taste. A theory which is relevant today may be irrelevant after a century. It is describing here the theory which is appropriate and relevant nowadays might be irrelevant because theories are introduced and theories are made for time being to develop the nature of the state to the life of the people. Some important things which were required yesterday might be relevant for the day, like typewriter. Nowadays, you always get some laptops and some computer desktop because copywriters or typewriters were removed as the requirement of the time. So this happens with the theory. Sometimes monarchy was relevant because most of the nations had the nature of the monarchy. So they took immediate action. In ancient theories, in ancient medieval time, modern in pre-modern phase, you always get this kind of theory. In view of these shortcomings, some political thinkers deny the status of science to the study of political theory. Many writers they always observe that political theory is not science. So how do we observe the science? Some people always say who favor that political theory is not science, they always say that there is not same result of political theory, same result of political action in many other states. Yes, it might be there. It happened many times, but most of the time, some important steps when the nation took, and nations are taking those decisions, like as you can see in Ukraine with Russia and Israel with Palestine, what is being practicing, like the practice of war is there. So many people have been killed in both of the states. The results are same, but in Russia-Ukraine status, there is different kind of problem. There is different kind of problem. There is different kind of rule. There are some irrelevant theories which were prominent in ancient time, like the use of power, because the term power has been developing their own meanings, right? It is generally agreed by the political scholars that it is difficult to arrive at accurate conclusions from political phenomena or to make certain predictions about the future. No one can predict the future. Yes, it is true. But some people say that we cannot predict the future by utilizing these theories. It is right. But in other part of life, some scholars are there who always describe that if we practice truth and non-violence, peace, so what use of these two principles would affect in future. These are two aspects of the life, two aspects of the scholars. Yet it is needed, possible by a sustained observation of political phenomena to draw conclusions in general and formulate principles, which may be useful in solving several problems of political theory and government. Sustained observation, theory of future or theory of recent scenario might be useful to solve the problems of the future, right? President Lowell felt that politics is an observational and as experimental science. Lowell emphasized on experimental science because if there is experiment, there would science. There would science. If there is experiment, the science is always based on experiment. So Lowell emphasized on experiment and science. It is not possible to experiment with the civil society and the human beings within the political system in the same manner in which a scientist experiments with the various substances in a physics or chemistry laboratory. Yes, it is true. We cannot experiment people or the society in same manner with same content because a mood of a man, a behavior of a man, nature of the society, nature of man, man means man and woman, both. It always changes. It always changes according to the need and the purpose of the life. Sometimes you need peace, sometimes you need dance, sometimes you need sing, sometimes you want change in the society, sometimes you do not win the do not want to change the society. It always happens. Therefore, any study of various political theories does not facilitate in arriving at conclusions with the precisions. Nevertheless, it helps us to identify probable truths. And in the words of Samuel Butler, probability is the guide of life. So Samuel is emphasizing on probability. Probability, it means it might be happen in most of the manner. J.W. Garner, in his book Political Science and Government, that was the name of book, which concluding that politics is a science, felt that it was still probably the most incomplete and underdevelopment to all the social sciences. So he is emphasizing, he means J.W. Garner. Garner is observing the political science as incomplete rather than other subjects, other branch of social sciences as economics, history, geography. Yeah, it is true because political science changes according to the nature of the state, the need of the state, the objective of the society. Because as you know, there are always some categories, there were some categories in the society which needed changes. Sometimes some practices were relevant, but after some time, those practices were concerned and observed as the bad practices, and the people demanded to abolish all those bad practices. In political actions, those bad practices were abolished and removed and banned. And sometimes, when we say the human was developed, the society is developed, what we do? We always try to abolish irrelevant and bad practices of the society. The political science is a need of the society, need of the people of the society. Thus, conclusions and predictions drawn in political science may at their best be probable, unlike in pure science. So, this was our first lecture on political science. Those aspirants and students who are willing to opt political science from starting to end. So this is first chapter, first topic, very fundamental principle, very fundamental theory related to the political science. Tomorrow at 10 p.m. I will describe you more and more for political science. Until then, thanks and bye.